Welcome to Indie Game Lab. This Saturday,
Greetings.
we've got Ensu is joining us with his game,
Hello.
Arena of Ambition.
Hmm.
So, let's, first of all, let's get us on screen. Hello, hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Um,
All right.
tell us about this game. What's sort of the genre? What's the basic overview?
So it's a dueling game, one versus one, and it's very fast paced. It's all about kind of being able to just pick it up, set it up, and get a quick game in under 20 minutes a lot of time. So it's fast paced, simultaneous, and all about prediction. It's all about the players represented as miniatures on a little hex board here, where they try and predict each other's moves and win a duel to the death, essentially. So it's
Okay,
it's all about this kind of fast paced combat, essentially. So,
nice.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Have a look at the board. I'm gonna pull that up now.
Hmm.
Oh, play area is kind of small.
Yeah, I could scale it up, but the miniatures are a certain size, you see.
Oh
So
yes, no, I mean the like there's not you're not like hiding behind trees and moving around
no,
like a giant brick.
I have updated that due to feedback, indeed.
Oh, okay,
So
so it did used to have like kind of a bigger board.
uh, the playing area is very similar. It's just I wanted to do some scenery stuff just to make it look
Oh,
fancy,
okay,
but
nice.
honestly, that caused more issues than it was worth because TTS would have problems with like loading in the assets sometimes. So basically, just decided to get rid of it pretty
Sure,
much. So, aye. So yeah, it's a lot smoother, a lot cleaner.
nice.
But, aye,
Well, let me
indeed.
hide this because that's not important. Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Sweet. Okay,
Good.
so we've got players. We've got Nerd
Mm-hmm.
versus Natsu. Um,
Yep.
I guess how does the game start? Is there some sort of setup that they're doing?
So it starts with a pretty basic setup, which involves the players choosing a character. So you can kind of see on the left, or depending where you're looking, you've got three characters laid out here. These are the Vanguard characters, which are basically the kind of starter characters for the game. They're kind of recommended for first time play because other characters are a bit more complex. Not so complex you can't play them first time
Hmm.
because they all work within the basic systems of the game. But these are just recommended. So you've got the character boards with them, you've got the character cards, and then you've got the miniature. The character board basically states all the information of the character, including the play style. So if you like hold Alt over one, scroll in, you can see play style. For Swordmaster, it's versatile, dodge specialist. Marauder's aggressive, high damage character. And then Retainer is adaptable, a jack of all trades. So you've got kind of three defined play styles here. So really, it's up to the players who they want to play, I guess. You can't play the same character against each other. So I mean, in this set, technically you could, but mirror matches are a bit weird. So
Sure. Yeah.
it's kind of recommended that you play different characters. So yeah, it's pretty much just choosing a character. So I guess we'll let players know they can choose their character because I think they
Yeah.
know who they want to play.
Hello,
Should
Stray
I just?
Feather. Is that your? Did your mother join us
Ooh,
in Twitch chat, or is that an actual fan?
I think that's someone from my Discord
Oh,
actually.
hooray! Hi.
So
Nice.
welcome, welcome. But yeah, should I just let them know in the
Yeah, yeah, they
TTS
can they
chat?
can get
Yep.
going. I mean, there's a lot. Like I was looking at these player cards. There's a lot going on there, so we'll have to maybe
Oh
get into
yeah.
that a little bit more.
Hmm.
But yeah, they can get going. We can keep talking about how you kill each other.
Yeah, so the basic system after you've chosen your characters, you basically gather the character boards, your
Hmm.
cards, and you put the miniatures on the board. You set your health and stamina, and then you're pretty much ready to go. So combat begins. Combat in this game is simultaneous. There's no I go, you go kind of turn advantage stuff. You're both playing at the same time,
Hmm.
and you're basically choosing an action card out of your hand, which you have access to all times. There's no random card draw or anything. And through that basic system, you someone's saying no swordmaster. Should be on the right of the rule there. I think he's looking through the bags in the wrong place. It's annoying. I can't ping as spectator. There we go. Yeah, I think Ned's pointing out. There we go.
Okay.
I think he assumed there he was in the bags. But anyway, so through the basic system of like action cards and stuff, there's different action cards with different uses, and you basically have to choose what you want to play in relation to what you think your opponent's going to play, basically. So there's different types of cards.
Okay.
The kind of basics of the way action cards work are listed in the action card interaction reference card thing by the I can't ping. It's by the player area. It's on the left of the little triangle thing, if you see.
Oh, okay. Oh, this like this beats that sort of thing. Will counter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the basics of the game is a almost rock paper scissors like thing that you've got 3 categories of card: defense, offense, and anti-defense. And it's basically rock paper scissors. Defense counters offense, offense counters anti-defense, and anti-defense, as the name would suggest, counters defense. So that's like the basics of the game. But as we'll see, within these card categories, action cards work vastly differently from each other. So there can be very particular and unique card interactions which is where a lot of the skill lies in this game, is kind of learning the different characters and what they can do and how their cards interact with each other. So it'll make more sense as we play along, but I believe the players are set up. They've chosen their characters. So I believe Natsu, as color blue, is playing the Swordmaster character, which is one of the vanguards, one of the starter characters. And then Nerd is playing, player red, is playing Executioner, which is one of the heavy characters. Okay. He is... It's going to be an interesting match. So you've got the 3 star characters. They're known as the vanguards. Mm-hmm. You've then got the heavy class, which you have 3 characters in that. Then the light class, which has 3 characters in that. And so far, I've got kind of 2 other full expansions, currently named the Outlanders expansion and the Legends expansion, which each add 3 characters each. And then I've got this one in the yellow bag, the Masters expansion, which is currently in the works, which just has 1 character in it. So each of these characters have a vastly different play style and stuff. So but I think we are set up. They've set their health and stamina.
Nice. I see. It looks like, does Nerd have less options than Natsu? He looks like he has the kind of the 7 basic attacks plus only 3.
So so basically the way the action cards work is both players get access to the basic action deck, which are these gray cards. For the 2 players, these are pretty much identical. The only differences are their statistics, like stamina cost and damage. Those are the main statistics there. However, the colored cards, so for Nerd, he's got the blue cards, and Natsu's got the purple cards for his character. Those are the character special actions, which are basically unique to the character. Now, yes, Nerd only has 3 special actions compared to Swordmaster's 5. That's basically the weakness of this character. He is actually the highest health character in the game, with a really nasty ability, which may or may not come into play. But his drawback is that he's got less options compared to other characters. So he's this big, heavy tank, but he's only got a few options. So basically, I think Natsu's game plan should be here is to get rid of Executioner's health lead as quick as possible and try and maintain that health lead, because Executioner specifically, if you look at his character board or the card in hand, since you can see those, he's got this special card, Off With Their Head, which is a combo card, which I'll explain in a second. But basically, this Off With Their Head combo card, as the kind of name suggests, is an execution card where it will deal double damage when the opponent is half health or less. So for most characters, if that card is played and it hits, it will one-shot you when you're under half health. So that might play out. So that's why I say you want to maintain a health lead as best as possible, because if you get down below health and he still has a lot of health over you, it's going to be a tough comeback. So,
but
Swordmaster's definitely got the options.
There's ways to stop that, right? Like, okay, so yeah, we'll get into that maybe once he gets into half health territory. He's going to always have to be watching out for this card, but there's cards he can play.
Yeah, it's very counterable. That's the thing. It's a high damage card, but it's slow, and every card in this game has at least 2 counters, even 3 counters.
Okay.
So nothing is like just guaranteed damage, uncounterable stuff. Yeah. The very basic design of this game is that you're always meant to have options. There's almost never a situation where you're just locked out of something and you're just going to die or take damage. There's situations where you'll have less options and maybe a difficult decision to make.
Okay.
But you'll never be not able to counter anything, if that makes sense.
Okay, good.
So yeah, this is going to be it's going to be interesting. So I think.
Are they waiting for a go ahead from us? Because yeah, we can roll.
Yeah, alrighty. I shall say begin. So they've set their health and stamina. They guarantee each other's character boards. Both players get access to each other's character board, which basically means you can look at each other's character boards with ease. So we're starting with the first card now.
The
first card can kind of tell the start of the game. So we will see what they start with. So I guess I'll just say reveal.
Okay, let's go. All right, light
Alrighty,
attack
so
versus a block.
Yes, so basically the way the cards work is you got 2 halves to them. The top half has got the information, which tells all the stats of the cards and stuff, and the name. And the bottom half tells you the timing of the action. So you can see on light attack here, speed 1, it acts with the light attack symbol. So Executioner will hit that empty hex, so he will miss, while the Swordmaster character is blocking on all speeds, and then gets to move 1 hex in any direction if they wish, but I'm assuming they might want to keep that distance away from Executioner. So I guess Executioner just assumed that Swordmaster was going to move in quite quick, as that card would have countered that.
Okay.
But unfortunately, it didn't play out, so we're still kind of in a neutral position. But Executioner's lost a bit of stamina because action cards cost more when a attack misses.
Okay.
So we're still in a neutral state here. It's really who's going to be landing the first hit. If Swordmaster can land the first hit, then I think they're on a good road. But if Executioner gets it, that's not good. But we'll see. Reveal.
Yeah, someone's got to step forward, I guess, before these hits start happening.
Oh, righty. That's a classic.
Speaking of stepping forward, okay.
So, Executioner moves forward, breaking that distance, and he is playing a bash attack, which is unparryable. It actively counters the parry. So, Swordmaster's played a parry action there. That's what that kind of cross-sword shield symbol means. So, Swordmaster's going to take 5 damage there. That is a unfortunate start.
So, this Brutus Shove, okay, so it effective against... where does it say it's unparryable? Oh, is that what the axe symbol
that's the bash symbol.
Okay.
And the bash, it cannot be parried. So that's
sick.
a really good attack for opening your opponent up, basically. If you think, because parry in this game is very influential for kind of countering defense, as it counters any form of parryable defense. It will counter a light attack, a heavy attack, anything that isn't a bash, basically. So you really want to open them up with that first. So Executioner has knocked Swordmaster away here. So I'm expecting a grab. Now, a grab is an anti-defense move, so I'm expecting Executioner might try and grab here.
Well, spoiler alert, he's not. It's still in his hand.
He's not.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see what he does.
What happens.
Oh, okay. Again, I think he expected him to move forward quickly, but Swordmaster is playing the quick step there, which is a kind of quick dodge, which also regenerates some stamina. So Swordmaster moves forward, and he's still dodging, so he will still dodge the light attack.
Okay.
And the light attack misses again. So right away here, you can see Executioner's stamina is very low.
Oh, yeah.
That is an issue for Swordmaster. That's another way to counter him, really, because he's only got 3 cards. Technically only 2, not counting his combo card, which basically combo cards are the yellow cards in your hand. They've got a yellow border. And these are basically very high damage cards or cards with really good special effects. But you can't play them at any time. As the name would suggest, you need to kind of combo into it, essentially. So Executioner's only really got 2 cards, special actions, that is, at any time. So he's got less options, but these cards are good. But they cost a lot of stamina is the main thing. Oh, we've got a kind of reverse interaction here. Swordmaster tries to light attack Executioner, but Executioner blocks because light attack hits on speed 1, and Executioner is playing block, which acts on speed 1 too. So the light attack damage will be negated, and Executioner will regenerate a bit of stamina.
Okay, he needed that.
Yeah, I mean,
with him at such low stamina, couldn't Natsu have sort of predicted that he might play this?
I think so.
Card?
When you get under around 10 or 12 stamina, that's a kind of very important threshold of you can still attack, because in this game you can overspend stamina. So say you only have like 4 stamina left, you could still do a action that costs 5 stamina, but that will guarantee exhaustion, which we will probably get into. We'll see if it crops up. So I think that's who could have predicted that, because he was at 9 stamina, which is quite a important threshold stamina wise. Because if you see on Executioner's character board or just on his cards, his non-combo card moves each cost 5 stamina, which is pretty hefty, honestly. Especially if they miss, that's going to cost 6. So you can just chunk down Executioner's stamina like bit by bit, just 5, 5, 5, 5, and he'll get low very quickly. Because he might have the highest health in the game, but he only has 22 stamina. So if you exhaust him, that is a good way to win the fight, essentially. But yeah, they're both in a neutral state here. Ooh, okay.
Ooh, we got 2 specials.
Swordmaster's playing quite a slow attack here. That only hits on speeds 4 and 5. But Executioner is once again playing the Brutus Shove, which hits on speed 3.
Oh, so he wins with
that. He will win with that. That results in an interruption, which will basically stop Swordmaster's card from acting. So once again, 5 damage. That's the thing. Executioner he only has a few sources of damage, and they cost a good amount of stamina. But if you let them hit, he's going to chunk down your health just bit by bit. You can see Swordmaster's already on 11 health, which I might point out is the threshold nearly, I believe. He has 21 health. So technically 10 health. So
okay, so he's still safe from off from the head, which he could
he's
play
still
this.
Safe.
He could play off with their head right now.
That would be an unexpected move, honestly. Because it's a very slow unblockable. That's the thing. The off with their head move has the unblockable special action, which, as the name would suggest, it can't be blocked. So you've got to like parry or dodge it or interrupt it. So I wouldn't say it's the most optimal card here, but that's the thing about this game. Compared to other games where usually you're always trying to figure out what's the most optimal action. And usually those optimal actions are best. And this game's no different in a way. You're trying to figure out what card will counter the most situations. But that is simultaneously the most predictable card once you're experienced with the game. So sometimes playing unorthodox cards that maybe only counter a few situations is honestly best, because that'll be like the last thing they're expecting. But
sounds like my kind of game. The worse you play, the better.
It can play out like that. New players are inherently unpredictable because they don't know the game yet. So an experienced player can like overthink it and just die to that. But in this situation, Execution does have access to that combo card. So that's what the Brutus Shove does. It combos in to off with their head. So that could go off. I think from an optimal perspective, that probably won't happen. But that's exactly the point, right? It might just be the card to get him even lower health.
Although it seems like the Swordmaster is unlikely to block because he's got a good amount of stamina still, right? So
exactly.
Okay, so it's very unlikely that this would actually work.
Considering Swordmaster's moveset, I would probably expect a bash in return. I think Swordmaster's going to bash Executioner here because I obviously can't see Executioner's hand right now, but I think Executioner's probably going to try and parry because I think he might expect some form of interruption attempt from the Swordmaster, and the parry is really good for that. But I do have a feeling that maybe Swordmaster might try and do what Executioner just did to him and bash him. But we'll see. Nerd's taking his time with his card.
So he's got one parry, but Swordmaster, it looks like he's got that basic parry card and
a second one.
And a special parry. Okay, cool.
Indeed. So his special parry is kind of an inverse of a normal parry. A normal parry just does physical damage. It just does a light attack. But Swordmaster's one only does 1 damage, but 3 stamina damage. Now, this is really good against characters like Executioner that are very stamina dependent. Because if you land that parry against a parryable attack like Executioner's Will, which is just a normal heavy attack, it's going to make that attack cost so much more. Plus 3 stamina costs because of the stamina damage it inflicts. So we might have that, but I don't know, because the thing is Executioner's played his bash card, which is his key card for countering parries. He's still got the grab, but the grab is much riskier than the bash because the grab is countered by any form of offense.
So that's literally the only card he has that can counter a parry right now is grab.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
So,
hello. I asked a question several times. I need an answer.
Oh. Hello. Sorry, we can't hear you in your other channel. What's that?
It's 10 or 11 half health.
No, it'll be 10. Sorry.
Okay.
It'll be 10. Yeah. So you got 1 more health point.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I should have the Discord up more often so I can see that. Post in the game lab. There you go. Cool. Yeah. That's a slight clarification I'll have to make.
Nice.
Yeah, so he doesn't quite have access to that off with a head yet. So I think that certainly influenced his decision.
Okay.
So let's see. Reveal. I'm expecting some form of bash from the Swordmaster. Anti-defense still. That is good. So yes, Swordmaster will move towards Executioner. Oh, this is potentially huge because Executioner is against a wall right now. So Swordmaster can throw Executioner to the wall and guarantee a basic heavy attack, which for Swordmaster is quite a lot of damage, actually. That's 7 damage. So I believe they're resolving that now. That's a free basic heavy right there.
Okay, so he still gets to regenerate stamina with his block.
Still regenerates a bit of stamina.
Okay.
So he's at that 12 stamina, which is pretty good. But
then this grab is costing Swordmaster no stamina either, so no one's down the stamina front, and Swordmaster is winning on the damage front this turn.
Yep. Nice. I'll just say in the chat. Yep. Yeah, there you go. His health's gone way down. You can see there. So basically he's took 7 damage. That should be not 8. So
nice.
7 damage. So yeah, that is pretty good. The situation's pretty dire still for the Swordmaster.
Yeah, he's still down there. Yeah,
still on 11 health. So there's a 10 health difference, which is pretty much considered to be a high health advantage. Because 10 health that's a lot of health points to get through. So it's still pretty dire, but that is still a good move. That's chunked down, cut Executioner's health size. Let's see. From that, that's a good move. There we go. We see the parry.
There's the parry, the stamina parry. Okay.
The stamina parry, that is going to be nasty for Executioner, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's going to work against this light attack.
He's going to use 6 stamina for that one move. Nasty card, that one, Pommel Strike. It's truly an inverse of a normal parry. Normally, with a parry, you want to deal physical damage, but that one is completely opposite. It's all about that stamina damage, and
nice.
That has paid off. That's cut Executioner's stamina in half. So I think from here, Natsu should definitely be predicting to try and stop any form of stamina regeneration because Executioner has access to those cards. He has the block, which is the main stamina regeneration card, but he also has Quick Step, which also regenerates some stamina. So I'm expecting some kind of maybe anti-defense again, but who knows? Executioner might well be predicting that. I have a feeling that the Executioner will probably realize his stamina is so low and maybe predict that. So we'll see.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, so that's
this card looks
Sword
complicated.
Master. It's a bit complicated, but it moves forward, it heavy attacks, and it then dodges for the rest of the card. So it's a really quick interruption, and then he dodges for the rest of the full speed. So that is a really good move, honestly, because it hits so fast.
Nice.
But clearly, Executioner was expecting it and parried it, which is
wow.
a good move. And you can see there, Executioner's stamina hasn't gone down at all, because the parry costs nothing on hit, or if it parries, I mean. Yeah. So that was a good move on the Executioner. He's dealt a bit more damage. He's made Sword Master's situation so much worse, and hasn't lost any stamina in the process.
That's great.
That was aggressive of the Sword Master to play that card, but maybe a tad too aggressive, considering his health state.
So,
that's rough. So
light attack versus Executioner's will.
That is uninterruptible. So basically,
and that's
normally,
and
that's the exact interaction. So on speed 1, the light attack hits. So Executioner will still take the damage, but instead of being interrupted like with any other card, Executioner will just pull through with that swing, and that has made Sword Master's. I think Sword Master's being a bit too aggressive here. I'm going to be honest, considering his health. When you get that low health, yes, you need to aggress because you need to get that health down from the opponent. But pulling out combo cards,
all right, is he gonna?
I'm not sure.
Looks like the Executioner's going for style points. Can he finish him with an off with his head? Because that's what he played.
That's what he played. We will see. I think. That's the thing, though. The characters are at one distance, so the off with the head's going to be harder to counter here, because if you're right up against him, you could just light attack him. But light attack has already been used. That's something I should say. You can't place the same card twice. Oh, that's death. Yeah,
block. You can't block can't block.
You can't block. Son. You can't block an unblockable. That is 12 damage against the Sword Master.
That is a classy overkill.
That is a execution, my friends.
That is an execution. Yes, yes. Okay, that was brutal.
I think that was brutal. I think the Sword Master might have hoped that maybe the Executioner would kind of second guess himself and maybe think, oh, he knows I'm going to play off with their head, so I'm going to play something else. But no, Executioner was very set in his decision. So
is that sort of like, I don't know, is that like kind of a BM move by Nerd, just being like, I'm gonna get you negative 10 health?
I mean, that's a bit BM. I guess it depends on the player. I guess it depends how you see it. That is a lot of overkill, because 2 health, a light attack would have killed you.
Right.
Grab would have killed you.
Just showing off now, Nerd.
Well, that is game. Yeah, I'd say the Sword Master was definitely too aggressive in that first game, because it's a fine balance, right? It's a bit annoying. Like, on one side, yes, you want to be aggressive against Executioner because he's got that huge health lead against most characters. But at the same time, he's got the tools to deal with you being aggressive. That's what that Executioner's will move is.
Yeah.
It's that uninterruptible to punish you for being way too aggressive, right? Because it's uninterruptible on the first 3 speeds, which is usually when you're interrupted. Yeah. So basically the idea is if you're going to try and just hit him hard with some quick move, he's just going to bitch slap you away, essentially.
Gothamite, if this game looks fun, you can play it yourself.
Yes, it is on the workshop. I know Gothamite actually. He's a friend of mine, but I'll post the links.
That's good. Good call for anyone that's watching. Post that link so we can, if anyone's interested, jump right in.
Yep, I'll put the workshop link here.
Brilliant.
Workshop under it, and then I've also got my YouTube, which hasn't got much content on it right now, but I do plan to add tutorial videos, guides, and all that good stuff.
Nice.
So, whoops, without the hashtag, sorry. So that was an interesting first game actually. Pretty unassuming because although that particular grab the Swordmaster got, which dealt 7 damage to his opponent because Executioner was against the wall, that was a good move, but I think it was just a bit too little, too late in a way. Like it was a good amount of damage, but Executioner still had such a big health lead over Swordmaster. So that's a hard comeback. It's a hard comeback to.
All right. So what cards? So if you're the Swordmaster, I'm trying to think from the Swordmaster's perspective. I think they're going to run it back with these same characters. What cards? If you parry as the Swordmaster, what cards are you worrying about? It's grab, right? Grab.
It's grab and bash.
Those are the only two cards. And the Swordmaster.
It's a 50-50 idea, yeah.
Okay, and the Swordmaster has 2 parries, which means so normally you can't parry
very
every
good
turn because you only have 1 parry. But Swordmaster has 2 parries, so he can parry every turn, right? And he's
yes, technically.
So
but the issue with that is it's potentially predictable, and it costs a lot of stamina if it fails. That's the thing with parry. Costs nothing if it's successful, so that's what makes it such a great card. But if it fails, 5 stamina loss, which isn't a huge amount of stamina, but it's still a significant amount of stamina for it to matter. Because normally, when a normal card like an attack misses, yes, it costs a bit more stamina and stuff, but you can still combo into a potential combo card because the only times you cannot go into a combo card is if you've took damage. So if your card's just missed, you lose a bunch of stamina, and that's not so nice. But you can still combo at least, right? But that's the thing with a parry. You lose 5 stamina, and your situation does not move at all. You can't combo, you can't move because you haven't moved with the parry. So it's less ideal, essentially. So the double parry is very strong, and it's something I'm keeping my eye on because it's almost on the border of being a bit too good. Potentially restricting the special action parry to a specific timing, perhaps. But so far it's just something you got to worry about. Right? You got to realize, okay, he has 2 parries.
Yeah, Swordmaster can always be parrying. I like that. I mean, I like that flavor too. If I was playing the Swordmaster, I'd be tempted to just parry just
parry twice.
The
good thing is that they're not identical parries. Right?
Sure. Right.
One's about stamina damage, the other's about physical damage. If you're just wanting to parry the oblivion out of your opponent and just counter damage him again and again, you can't really do that with Swordmaster's moveset because he's got the basic action parry, which does the basic light attack, and then you got the special parry, which it will parry, but it'll only deal 1 health damage. So not the best damage dealer in the game. So yes, it seems Swordmaster's chosen his card.
And it was not. It was not a parry. I can tell you that because I see both parries still in his hand.
Okay.
The
start of the game.
Yeah, here we
can go any time. So let's see.
He's taking it back.
That can tell a lot. Either he's second guessing himself, or he's had a Sun Eureka,
or he's watching the Twitch channel.
Oh, he's looking. A trade. Right. They both have 2 bashes, which are very similar.
Oh, wow. Yeah, same speed. Okay.
Pretty much the same card, just different combos. So, they whoever moves forward first is going to be the person with more stamina, which is Swordmaster. He has 25 stamina.
Oh, I didn't know that was the tiebreaker. Okay.
So, they deal 5 damage to each other. In a way, like, this is very neutral, right? Because, yes, Executioner still has a health lead, but Swordmaster's lost the exact same amount of health. That's a very odd... You don't see that a lot.
Yeah,
it's playing the exact same card. Normally, the start of game decision is who's going to defend first, who's going to parry, who's going to attack first, right? But if both players attack... it's normally a case of who's going to interrupt one another.
Right. So you mentioned that rock paper scissors, but there's a little bit of a countering within that attack class, right? We didn't really talk about interrupts yet, and I think that's a kind of an interesting piece of this puzzle, right? So
Yeah.
So how do you interrupt? What's up with the interrupt?
So basically, you need to land an attack that is quicker than the actions of the card.
Okay.
Hold on. To have taken damage. Just saying in TTS chat real quick.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, interrupting is really key in this game because it can just stop a lot of those big damage or special cards from even happening.
Okay. Yeah.
So it is a very key thing to do. Okay, they're both
okay.
regenerating stamina. I think that's absolutely fair considering they both used quite a bit. I think they both used 5. Okay. Yeah, so this is pretty much neutral.
Yeah.
Only Swordmaster has a bit less health to use, essentially. I mean, so does Executioner, but it doesn't matter as much with Executioner because he has a 8 health lead right now, which that's basically the way health works in this game. You want to, obviously in any game, you want to try and limit the amount of damage you take, but it's really important in this because the riskier cards, like combo cards and stuff, they deal a lot of damage, but they're very counterable. So if you have a lot of health, you can do those risks, but when you're lower health, it's the risk is amplified.
But man, that the amount of health. Ooh. Oh, okay. Let's see what happens here.
I believe Swordmaster's going to get interrupted.
Interrupted. So speaking of interruption, here it is. Light attack.
Yep. Light attack on speed 1. Swordmaster moves forward on speed 1. Swordmaster's basically moving forward into that attack.
He just walks right into his little sword. Yeah.
Yep. It's the thing about that particular bash because it moves forward on speed 1. Most other attacks will move forward on like speed 2 or 3. So a card is particularly vulnerable if it moves forward on speed 1 because it means you can walk into a light attack.
Oh, got it. Okay, yeah. So that's the drawback.
That's
nice.
So that bash particularly deals higher damage than most other bashes, but as a compensation, it's almost the most interruptible bash in the game.
Okay, so some of the other ones, so it's light attack specifically that counters it. So it was like a perfect card to play against.
That was a perfect card to play, yeah.
So how do you light attack with that giant axe though? I'm a little confused. Like, is he just like
he's got the strength to wield it. He's a big armored bro. So just
like a little tap with the axe or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah, just a little swipe, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Could be using the blunt force of it to just smack the opponent with it.
Okay.
It's a big metal axe at the end of the day. I see Natsu withdraw his card. That is all fine in this game. I'm wondering what he's going to play though. So his anti-defense attempt has just failed. So I think Swordmaster might try and be defensive in reaction. That's because he doesn't have the greatest of tools to break Executioner's defense right now. He only has to grab. But Executioner's against the wall. Oh, okay.
Oh,
that is worked. A good prediction on the Swordmaster's part, actually. He light attacked, which counters Executioner's grab, which is a great move, really. Because grab is countered by any form of offense. Basically, grab counters any defensive card. So you can see in the top right of the cards, they have those category symbols. So it'll counter any defensive card, but it will be countered by any offense card. And that light attack is an offense card. So, yeah, that's good. That has costed Executioner a hefty amount of stamina too, because similar to the parry, grab costs nothing on hit, but for Executioner specifically, it costs 7 stamina on miss, which counts when you're hit by an attack. So it costs a lot. It costs a lot. So I think with that big stamina loss, Executioner might try and regain some stamina. So we'll see.
Nope.
Oh, switcheroo, and that's a nasty, nasty trade. Swordmaster's part.
Yeah,
that's
here we go.
5 damage you're taking, which got. That's off with their head territory. He's on 6 health.
Swordmaster was definitely thinking he was going to try to regen stamina and he tried to play that grab.
Executioner thought of that. That's the thing with this game. It really depends on your thinking. That's the really key thing about this game. You're always in control. There's no random card draw to limit you. There's no obnoxious card effects. You're always in control. And in a way, that's also a negative because your opponent can also do anything.
Yeah.
So it just leads to these interesting predictions like this, where clearly the Swordmaster predicted that the Executioner was going to try and regain some stamina, but the Executioner saw that and thus played that bash to counter his card. Oh, Natsu's reconsidering. I don't think he wants to repeat his mistake from last game and get his head cut off.
Okay. Spoiler alert. It is. It is an off with their head under there. So
the thing is Natsu could second guess himself here and think he's not going to play it twice in a row. We'll see. We'll see.
So rude if Nerd pulls it off again. So rude.
What's it going to be? Oh, thank God. Okay. He parried. Right. That's good. That is good. And that's going to cost Execution a lot. That's exhaustion. That's exhaustion right now.
So we haven't had anyone run out of stamina.
We haven't had exhausted yet. So so exhaustion, the way it works, it's where this little dice comes in with the buying a normal glowy d6. Basically, when you're exhausted, some negative modifiers are applied to you. Basically, you cannot use special actions. That's the main downside. Okay. You're limited to your basic actions. So you can still predict, you can still break someone's defense, you can still interrupt and stuff, but you've only got those basic tools, which is, well, really limiting. Your attack damage is also halved, so you're dealing a lot less damage. And when you're knocked back into a wall, you take +1 physical damage, which is really nasty. So I think Executioners were going to want to try and get out of exhaustion as fast as possible, because exhaustion lasts for a maximum of 4 card interactions. Oh, okay. That's a good move on Executioner's part, actually. Okay. He anticipated that grab. I think, once again, similar to the interaction 2 interactions ago, Executioner knew that the Swordmaster wanted to break his defense because he knew that Swordmaster thought he was going to try and regen some stamina. So that's a good move. But instead of dealing 4 damage on his light attack, he's only dealing 2 because it's halved. So Swordmaster isn't as punished for that. But Swordmaster's stamina is very low. 4 health and 4 stamina.
Yeah.
So
it looks like Nerd is kind of thinking like two steps ahead, right? And
very much. He's a very experienced player.
Yeah.
He's been playing this game for a fair bit, so it is a challenge for Natsu. But I think this, if anything, would be the time that you can really cut down Executioner's health to size, because he has barely any options anymore. But unfortunately, Swordmaster's stamina is so low. If he had more stamina to spend, he could mix up Executioner to high heaven. But right now, he doesn't have the stamina to do that.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Welcome, Joke. Thanks for
welcome
us.
to chat. Oh, a switcheroo. So Swordmaster's countering the grab that time.
Okay, grab is just not paying off this game.
Grab is... That's funny, honestly, because Nerd's kind of infamous in my Discord for playing grab so much. For a lot of players, I think grab can be so punishing that players don't really appreciate its full use and they don't play it much. But Nerd is very liberal in playing that grab card. But right now, it's really not playing off this game.
But I guess there's less of a drawback once you're already exhausted, right? Like the grab can't cost you more stamina.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, yes. So grab is safer, but in turn, it deals less damage.
Sure.
So that was a good call. I think Swordmaster definitely saw that Executioner was going to try and stop his stamina regen.
Okay.
So that's a good move to play. And he's still not exhausted. He still has a chance.
Okay.
So
he gets one more big swing here before... and here's the big swing.
Ooh, that is excellent. That is a really good move to play, because I thought he was going to regen some stamina. Executioner was going to regen some stamina, but Swordmaster has that unblockable attack, which is not a combo card, which is really strong. Because most of the time, unblockables are usually locked behind characters' combo cards. But some characters, like Swordmaster, have kind of lower damage unblockables, which make them really good, because block's a really good card, right? Because it blocks all the timings, it reduces damage, and it regens a bit of stamina. But the fact that that unblockable can play out at any time is really threatening, and that's paid off in this regard. So Executioner has regenerated from stamina, but in turn, Swordmaster's dealt quite a bit of damage. Executioner has 11 health, so that is a 7 damage lead. So this is possible. Difficult. A very difficult comeback.
Yeah.
But it's possible. But The problem is Swordmaster is exhausted. So
now the tides have turned.
He's basically got to survive at this point for any chance. Ooh.
They got cards on top of each other. It's heavy attack.
That's not death yet. That actually wait, no, that is death. Unfortunate.
I can't see what they're got.
Oh, is it?
They have the cards on top of each other or something. So it's heavy attack versus what? Not the advanced double strike.
Against light attack. That's strange. That's not logic. That is unfortunate. If Executioner wasn't exhausted, Swordmaster would have been alive there. But I guess what the Swordmaster predicted is that Brutish Shove was going to come in because it moves forward on speed 1. So I expect that Swordmaster predicted that
I see.
The Brutish Shove was going to come out, but unfortunately, Executioner predicted that and threw out that heavy attack, which moves slower and caught that quick action. That is unfortunate.
Okay.
But that was close to this time, for sure.
Okay.
So that's 2 games right there.
That's 2 games. So best out of 2, or best out of 3, and we only had to play 2 because Nerd is just
won it, unfortunately.
Axe Master here.
Executioner Master, indeed. Aye, very, very punishing character, that one.
I feel like if in real life, I feel like I would put my money on a Swordmaster though. The quick in and out. But that health difference that you start with is massive, right?
It is mad.
Yeah.
It's even more punishing for the light characters, which are basically glass cannons.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, they only have 19 or...
Yeah, like 19, 18 health. So that health difference is nasty, but in turn they can deal a lot of damage. But Swordmaster is definitely an interesting matchup against Executioner because he has all these tools to deal with Executioner really well. But ultimately, you just got to get that health lead down. It's really tough, honestly, because you let I say if you let Executioner can earn that health lead too if he predicts correctly. If he has that health lead, it's so difficult to break down, really. So that's the kind of the kind of play style against the character. That's what you gotta do. But yeah, those were some very interesting matches. We had some very interesting predictions.
So Nerd. So my first question for you, sir, is game 1. You ended the game with an off with their head. Is that
was a promise? That was a promise to Answers.
Yeah,
I made that promise to him.
To be fair, it's one of those cards that when you're in that situation, you've got access to it. You just got to play it out.
Right.
I mean,
Executioner. It's hard to resist, right? Like you gotta finish
exactly.
It off,
It's such a drastic move. I mean, it's the highest damage move in the game, actually, to my knowledge. So it's a nasty one. And Executioner, how any character has the health to risk it, but the drawback is that you've got to get your opponent to half health. So again, it just enforces that thing of if you can keep Executioner above, or if you keep yourself above that half health mark and just chunk down Executioner bit by bit, he's actually not that great of a character compared to most because he hasn't got that many options. The options he has got are good, but they're limited. Ultimately, he's only got 2 of them. So yeah, that was an interesting first game for sure. Big finisher there. But I think Swordmaster just got unlucky with the health lead stuff. Honestly, honestly, very.
So yeah, like guys, I don't think. So Swordmaster, are you there? Are you there, Natsu?
I'm here.
Hey, so. You've got 2 different parries. Was it? Have you ever tried doing like the just parry all the time strategy?
Twice.
I have. I've tried it against Ensu, who's here.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is he was using his brute shove a lot. Like that was like every other turn it was coming out, and every card that has a blue icon in the top right corner is just dead against that, which is like over half my cards. So I kind of learned in the first game that I needed to be way more aggressive.
Okay,
yeah, that was kind of my point, so he's not going to use those cards.
Okay, so Brutish Shove then. What counters Brutish Shove?
Only attack.
Interruption, mainly. the light attack, and a quick step, like a dodge.
Okay.
You can also block it to reduce the damage, but the damage is halved. So you're still taking a bit of damage and you're still knocking it back. So it's this nasty thing that Executioner's only got 2 non-combo cards. While most characters have 3 or even 4. But the thing is the cards Executioner does have covers each other's weaknesses, essentially. The Brutal Shove is really interruptible because it moves forward on speed 1. So you can interrupt it with just a basic light attack at like 1 distance. But he's also got the Executioner's Will move, which is uninterruptible. So he's basically got a 50-50 kind of thing. He's got an option for both interactions. So it's very nasty to verse. So
I see.
You do want to just try and get as much damage on him as possible, really. But I think at the end there, when Stormmaster was like on critical health, I think you were a bit too aggressive, to be honest, because you were like playing through the combo card and stuff, which was I mean, it could have paid off, don't get me wrong, but I think especially when at critical health, playing combo cards is very risky business, because although they're high damage and they've got like good special effects, they're also the most like telegraphed cards too, in a way, because you need to lead into them first, and they've got plenty of counters. But nonetheless, I think Stormmaster definitely played much better in the second game. You got some really good damage in Executioner, and some really nice predictions too, especially with countering this one, the second interaction that played just before the end one. Countering his defense was really good there, honestly, countering that block. But unfortunately, just didn't have enough stamina to pull it through. I think that was the thing that kind of put the nail in the coffin, unfortunately.
So Nerd, I hear you're a sort of an executioner specialist. What sort of draws you to that character specifically?
Actually, the simplicity, or that you don't have so many options, because then you're forced to play the common cards, and even though they are weaker than the other cards, I think they're underrated in a lot of circumstances.
Definitely.
Nice. Yeah. So you were switching. What were the cards you were using most often? I saw you do light attack a bunch.
Light attack, I used a lot. I used a lot of blocks. I was quite unsure about the parry because, well, he has a lot of parries and his bash, so kind of a useless card in the setup.
Okay.
I tried to use grab once or twice, but then again, my bash was frightening enough for him not to use his parries.
Okay.
Yeah, I was saying during the game that you're like kind of infamous in like my group for playing grab so much, but it really didn't pay off for you in this game, really.
Right, I didn't see grab do much work this game, to be honest. Yeah.
I mean, Stormmaster got that really good grab when he threw you to the wall and dealt that 7 damage, but again, I think just I said it earlier. It was a bit too little, too late, because dealt 7 damage. That's a really good chunk of health. But Executioner still had I think 21 health at that point.
Yeah, that was the first time I took damage.
Which was really tough. Really tough, yeah.
Okay, so then Natsu, so if he's just going between like light attack and brutish shove, like what's the actual answer to is there a card that answers both of those, or is there like no answer to that?
His brutish shove beats double strike to punch, right? It hits on 3. Quick step.
Okay.
Quick step's good. Yeah, quick step will dodge both, and that will regen you a bit of stamina.
Okay.
But the main like drawback I'd say about the basic actions isn't really how they act. I think they're perfectly good cards in the way they act. It's just they don't combo into your like combo cards and stuff. That's why the special actions are played so much, because they have varied timings, they have special effects involved, but also they just lead into those combo cards, which are the kind of primary form of pressure. That's the kind of main thing with this game, is you're really trying to put pressure on the opponent and kind of force a certain reaction. I think multiple times here we saw like interactions where one player wanted to do something really obvious, like regain stamina, but then the interactions between that were very different. Sometimes you would just regain stamina, sometimes the opponent would counter that, or the stamina regaining player would counter the opponent's attempt to break their defense. So you're really trying to put you're meant to realize situations where the opponent is weak, and you're also just meant to try and put pressure on them in any way. And I think Executioner is one of the best examples of that, because he has a kind of passive form of pressure through that health lead. You know that you're going to have to deal a bunch of damage to bring him down, and he has that amount of health to spend on risks, essentially. I think that's why especially Executioner can grab so much and stuff, right? Because sure, he might take a lot of damage trying it for failing it, but he has so much health. So that's the kind of main strength of him, I think, is that health lead, because health is very, very important in this game, for sure.
Yeah, I saw it seemed almost like he wasn't Executioner ran out of stamina, and he didn't actually seem that punished with it. It cost him a couple options and a couple damage points, but the health,
I think
health runs out, you're dead, right? So
yeah, I think that's due to two things. A, Executioner only has 3 cards. The difference isn't as noticeable. Sure. I think when Swordmaster became exhausted, that was really noticeable, right? Because he loses access to 5 cards. Those are really strong options. But Executioner only loses 3. And ultimately, only 2 of those are really being played most of the time, because the combo card is only really useful when that opponent is under half health.
When you wanna just do the rub-ins like Nerd did.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think the main reason why the exhaustion didn't really play out to Swordmaster's favor was just because of how little stamina Swordmaster had. I think exhaustion is the perfect time to deal damage to Executioner, because he doesn't have those oppressive action cards to pressure you with. So you could just chunk down his health, but you need the stamina to even do that in the first place. So I think that was just unfortunate. Throughout the game, really, he didn't really have the amount of stamina to punish Executioner at that really key moment when he could have lost a lot of health. I mean, he did with the advancing double strike, but then that resulted in Swordmaster becoming exhausted, which was spelled out death for him there, unfortunately.
To be honest, it wasn't also so problematic for me being exhausted, since I was so aggressive. I just tried to attack over and over again since he was so low, so I didn't care.
Right, yeah. When he only has 6 health left, right? It's I just need to ping him a couple more times. That's
close the deal. Yeah, it's the way I'm explaining it. It seems like, oh yeah, you could have done this, you could have done that. Coming back from such a low health lead is really hard, right? Because not only have you got to predict perfectly, you're also hoping that your opponent doesn't predict perfectly, or it's essentially a thing of you've either got predict perfectly, or the opponent's got to make mistakes, and that's not always guaranteed, especially with an experienced player. So when I'm saying all this, it's hard to come back from that. I maybe I'm not emphasizing that enough, especially against a character like Executioner, which has just such oppressive cards.
Yeah. Besides that, Executioner's even worse in low health situation, since he's totally fine exchanging health.
Yes, health, man. It's his primary strength. The big damage combo card might seem like it, but that's just kind of the cherry on top. Having that amount of health is really strong. So I'd say in that regard, the Vanguard characters, these 3 that I laid out, including Swordmaster, are probably the most viable matches against him. I mean, other than a maybe potential heavy character, because they have enough health and enough stamina to manage him. The light characters are, glass cannons. They can either do amazingly well against him because they deal so much damage that his health lead doesn't matter, or they're utterly awful because they die in 3 or 4 hits. Sure. It's really the light characters are really interesting play because they've got these really dynamic play styles, really good damage, but you can only make a few mistakes, and you can make even fewer mistakes against Executioner. really. So
exactly.
Stuffy.
Well, we are sort of out of time for this week. Thank you so much for joining us, Ansuz. For everyone watching, check out the YouTube channel for future videos about how to play strategy content. Right.
Yep, I'll be uploading a lot some content in the coming weeks, including a how to play video, which I'm going to include in the TTS workshop.
Okay.
And just general guides and stuff and content for the game. So I'll just paste those 3 links there.
Excellent. And just an Indie Game Lab plug as well. We're doing this every week, except when I'm not around. But come check us out every Saturday around this time. We're gonna do next week. We've got Champions of Mira, so we're excited to run that one. And thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Ansuz.
Thank you very much.
We'll be watching the progress of this game, and
it's been an honor.
Okay. Cheers, everyone.
Alrighty. Cheers. See ya.
See ya.